Hello, I am experimenting on a new style of film recording. I had a lot of fun doing this and trying a different technique. Timer, notepad, right here. Just a few things. I want to do video review of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Beautiful design, beautiful cover. Alright, I want to review this real quick. It's kind of like an origin story for Batman. It's it starts with a serial killer called the Phantasm going around killing gang members, and a district attorney is trying to stop him using the law and everything, which is interesting. And then a romance with young Bruce Wayne and Andrea Beaumont, who has a backstory. The story's good. The story's very good. What really works about the Batman animated series is that they try to like mimic the a lot of 1950s and a lot of good 1930s movies, and that's what helps it a lot. And the story of Adrienne Beaumont is really interesting. She's um, uh, she's an interesting female character in the Batman universe. She uh, she she does affect Bruce Wayne, and that's how really a good that's what's good about relationships, when characters really interact with one another, and not just so much like they do random things or say random things that doesn't quite fit their character mold. Now, in this story, Adrian Beaumont turns out to be her family was killed off by the mafia, which is the reason why she becomes the Phantasm. So this relationship kind of parallels both Batman and hers. A little bit too much like Batman and Batman Returns, where Catwoman and Batman are both freaks and they're both vigilantes. Here, it's a combination of both. They both lost the same thing, and Batman is trying to reflect upon it, and he's trying to change his life, and he's trying to motivate himself. One of the best things about this movie, it's a Batman Year One. Now, this is more of a chocolate coating of the harsh medicine that Batman Year One is, and what works and what doesn't. It does a really good job showing us early Batman, which a lot of people would like to think the first year of the animated series was like. This was 1993. This was a year after the this was a year after the animated series was released, but before some of the best episodes have been aired. Some of the best episodes from those 3 seasons before we go on to the redesign, and then Justice League and Batman Beyond and Superman. Um, a lot of people would like to think those are like the first early years of Batman, and I kind of agree. It's a really good origin story explaining Batman, what it was like training, what it was like trying to get that right element of what makes him Batman. The relationship is extremely relevant. It's more relevant than the Batman Year One stuff. How Adrian Beaumont affects him. It's interesting. Now, the thing that works most about Bruce Timm's artwork is his sense of sexuality in his work. You can see it more in his comic books, but not so much in the first 3 seasons of Batman the Animated Series. More in Batman Season 3, you get to see more like this sexuality in his characters, his female characters. Here, it's a mix between the animation quality and it, it doesn't quite get it. Adrian Beaumont has some really good shots. I think, like, personally, I would rank in the one with the phone on her is like this beautiful shot, beautifully illustrated. Everything before is kind of like not that good. Again, doesn't have that Bruce Timm sense of sexuality, and that's what hurts it. Um, it's it might be a hit or miss thing with a lot of people, but that's what that's what really makes his artwork really interesting, and what's really exciting about it. It kind of puts it on another level. I'm not sure if like the audience of Batman, or I'm not sure if even animation audiences are ready for it. He's excellent. Now the animation quality is very very mixed in here. It ranges. It starts off with really really good, and it kind of goes bad some points. It goes pretty slow in telling this story. Now I don't know. I mean, like after the first three seasons, they got better editing and they had better ability to work with their animation studio in Korea. And they were when you compare this with Batman Beyond or Justice League, which is later, they had digital video editing, which they could fix up a lot of the problems that the Korean studios did. Here, they seem to be stuck with them, and the storytelling is hindered because of it. Now, it varies. It's not the worst. It's not the worst animation from them. It's not the worst animation from the animated series. It's, but it kind of dings it. It kind of dings it a bit. There's some scenes that are beautifully animated, and makes this really just a makes this really one of the best animated series. I mean, like the CG intro is looks like Darwin Cook's Batman Ego, which is fascinating. It's a fascinating visual. Doesn't get used again, which is kind of a shame. The art that's where it kind of feels stiff. Now, back to one of the biggest elements of this story is that Joker's involved in it. Joker, he's a hitman for the mafia, and again, people like mystery with the Joker. Some people don't like hearing an origin story, but you have to explain at least how does he fit in to this world. I mean, like, everyone likes the relationship between him and Batman, and that's probably the best thing about it. Seeing him as a henchman is pretty good. It's still really really good. It's a good element. He adds a lot of character to it. Mark Hamill, of course, doing his best work as always. Here I would think Joker is really great. He becomes a really menacing figure. He becomes a really interesting key figure in this story and how he relates into it. My favorite scene in the movie is where he's being pummeled and he's reaching for a knife, and there's a slab of bologna, and he grabs the bologna and he hits the Phantasm with the bologna instead of the knife. Which there are some great elements of humor. The ending fight scene is really great, beautiful. Probably ranks in one of the best Joker laughs ever. This is the one that everyone's going to use on their reel of favorite moments of the Joker. The ending fight scene is really good. There's this really good tone. It's really dingy. It's almost dead. It's dilapidated. It's quiet. It's really good. It's probably one of the best moments of the movie. Nice, like Batman breaks Joker's teeth, which adds this element of kind of like again adds this Frank Millerishness to Batman, and adds this. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. It's really dark, and this ending fight scene is just adds a level of stakes. It just builds its stakes. It makes it important. It makes it really, really relevant. And at the end, I seriously thought that I'd never see the Joker again, although he comes back on the animated series. So that's kind of maybe some people might think it's different. Some people might think it's bad or not because, but it feels, really good. Now, when you rank this with other Batman movies, it's really good. It's really, really good. I mean, like I was saying before, relationships are not the strongest suits in Batman. Relationships are kind of forced upon for Batman. It's this kind of shallow aspect of Batman where they're kind of like maybe a woman can better Bruce Wayne, and sometimes it's really, really painful. Like in Dark Knight, I had to explain to people that Rachel was Maggie Gyllenhaal was recasted from I forgot her name from Batman Begins, and that does hurt at least people's impression of Batman Begins and their relationship of her. But still, Batman Begins does a big, long moment where they have to explain the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Rachel, and maybe she could change him. It doesn't work really well. And other stories like Vicky Vale, not that good of a character, very, very flimsy. Nicole Kidman's psychiatrist character, pretty bad. Even Adam West's Batman had to force in a relationship, which was part eventually turns out to be Catwoman, which later tries to kidnap Batman, which is kind of the master plan of those criminals. Here, the relationship's really good. Now, when you compare it with the comics, that's a horse of a different color, and it kind of ranges. I've seen better stuff. The relationship is still probably the strongest part about it. Joker's really good in it. The Mafia is really good. There's a lot of interesting characters in there. There's a lot of interesting characters, interesting designs. It's interesting how they play with politics and everything else, and it gives it a more of an adult tone in the animated series. Now, comparing it with the animated series, which it's the same style, it's kind of different. It's not skippable. This is one of their best work. This is one of their best stories. It's got some problems. It's got some problems. It's a little bit flawed. But it's a really, really great story explaining Batman's origin. If you want, like, this was 1993. Definitely one of the best Batman stories. It's good. It's great. It's like I was saying before, it's a candy-coated take on Batman's origin. It's definitely worth picking up and following. All right.